This here's Illy. She's the smallest of the pups that we have here that are off of Brutus and out of Dessa. She's probably 35 pounds now, I bet. A little bit fat from the winter. Here we go, walking with her. All this garbage. All this garbage everywhere. This is where our kids play. Look at. Looks like some spice. Kratom. I don't know what the hell that shit is. We're out. Need to get our garbage bag on this little spot here too. It seems like the abandoned houses, yards around here get really crappy, trashed up, littered. Nobody does nothing. Look at this place. Ain't no reason why somebody couldn't live here, but just growed up, littered up. As you can see, I let my dog shit there. I'm not helping the scenario much, huh? But here we go. Take 2 on the hunt for the groundhog. This time we're going with Illy. But yeah, hi everybody, I'm bundled up, it's cold. Look like the gingerbread man in the my shadow. Oh. Come on, girl. Shitting in people's yards. That's what I usually do. Just kick it to the road. Come on. Here's our water tower. Me and Illy making our rounds. As I was saying kind of earlier though, I like to do a lot of hand walking with the dogs. That's really a good way to get out there with them. Spend some one-on-one time with them. Fella I used to talk to quite a bit, kind of lost touch with, but his name was David. He always used to tell me that puts a bright spot in their day, and I agree with him. It's a pretty good description of it. You see, she's looking at me, talking to me, loving me. Stop once in a while and give them a little love. That's a good girl. Tell her they're doing a good job. Just spend good time with them. I've got 6 currently, so I try to get each one out whenever I can. Do anything with one of them, I get them all out. Makes me feel a little bit better about everything. I know some of you people that may have larger yards can probably find a little bit of jealousy in that, because you know, as these dogs get a little older in their years, you know, it seems like they don't want to go as fast as some of the younger ones, but still, you know, you got to find that spot for them in the routine. Usually how I do it is I'll take Patches or one of the older dogs first, start off a little slow, and then get one of these little guys here out that really like to keep moving all the time, charging, sniffing around, doing all this stuff, checking the world out, marking territory. But, you know, as I was saying, some of the people can probably find a little bit of envy in that, just because it's hard to not get them out. You know what I mean? Some of the older dogs, if you feel like they're just sitting around, ain't getting much exercise, begins to kind of wear on them and yourself as well. You want to keep them moving, keep them active. Not necessarily for the competition's sake of things, but just for the longevity, their health. You know, some of you people that work these dogs on a daily basis can contest that it may be hard on them, or, you know, not as good to do this all year long. You know, give them a break once in a while, things like this. But my dogs are usually in the same shape. You know, if I try to get one ready for a show or something, I may walk them all a little bit more, but I can't really just justify finding special time for just one dog and polishing that one stone. I don't know if that's going to be my downfall in these dogs or not, but it keeps me fit, I tell you that. And I can't complain there. If I ain't working, I'm walking my dogs, or if I am sitting, it's because I'm tired from both of those. Or chasing the kids around, you know. But, you know, levels to this, levels to that, everything. Like all these top dog folks say, I don't know where I fall in the levels and the categories. Whatever you guys want to do, categorize me however you want. I don't really care. All I know is I got 6 great dogs, 3 great boys, great wife, and I'm enjoying life. I don't care if you think I'm not happy because my dogs aren't the best or whatever you want to say. Well, I agree with you. That make you feel better? I'm just happy to have them. Happy to do my part in keeping them. I know my dogs are all healthy. I take good pride in knowing that I keep them vaccinated properly and dewormed monthly so that they don't get sick. All their shots, everything up to date on them. You know, that stuff costs money for a guy that doesn't really have much left at the end of the week to throw towards something like that. But as you can see by some of the videos, we just make do. We got trees we climb, and we got a little drag weight we're working with, trying to get the dogs weight pull trained, so maybe we can compete in that at some point. I don't really know that we'll do good at it or not, but we just set a little goal for ourselves to try to exceed what we did on the last run, which was 1,200 pounds, I think, 1,400 pounds, something like that. So if we ever beat that, we'll feel like we improved our technique a little bit, I guess. But then you got these guys that write these articles about, you know, people that are always making excuses for themselves, and it's the body's natural, the mind's natural defense to, you know, make excuses for shortcomings and things like this, which I can understand. But who are you comparing yourself to here? And are we talking apples or oranges, or, you know, top level, bottom level dog people? Because according to all you folks that are the hierarchy of the dog world, you're all the best. So, well, leave it up to the ADBA to find a new dog show event that'll let you guys all fight over the new title and best of the best, cream of the crop, whatever you want to call it, this new title. But they got a invitational show coming up, and then they've got the first ever World Nationals, which will be down in the Smoky Mountains this year, it looks like. I'm trying to get down there and check that out. I want to see some of these dogs from all over, see who's winning the trophies at those. You know, I know one thing, the guy that's going to be judging that, Mr. Noel Carrion, I think his name is, he's been at it for a while. I'd read a little article today on a site about him that I didn't know some of the stuff, but his work is pretty heavy in our yard off of the T&C kennel stock through both, I think, Festus and Faith. I think they both had a little bit of that blood in them, mixed in with the Matthew blood, which was, I think some Sorrels and some Floyd blood, and also the Budweiser Crusher, which is in the Matthew, with some of the old family stuff. And then I obviously bred her to our 3/4 Colby, 1/4 Tab, which is line bred Jeep Red Boy stock. So we got a, well, what folks would probably consider a scatter breeding. I can't say I disagree, but I'd almost call it more of a 4 or 5 way cross. Heavy Colby, and then, you know, heavy Matthew, obviously, which is basically old family red nose, Budweiser Crusher, and Sorrels. Got the Jeep Floyd Tab Red Boy blood that all kind of basically is a blend of the same old Colby blood mixed with some of the newer Boudreaux blood, Carver blood, and then, believe it or not, Dessa, actually, this dog Lilith in her pedigree on the very bottom, has some AKC York Ruffian blood that was bred into there. Pretty interesting. So that's basically what our yard consists of. A lot of people's work, and I've actually done a little bit of research. Got on Facebook last year and met up with a lot of these people and started chatting with them about the dogs and, you know, what they thought of them. Got some pictures and things like this of the dogs for my own research. You know, I kind of wanted to do that for my own purposes, for my yard, my records. You know, a lot of the people that actually have some of this similar blood have had issues with it. Sometimes being excite, bite, man biter tendencies, or actually some that possibly may have done it, I don't know. But you know, you hear about these things 2-3 years down the road after you've purchased a dog, and you know, by then hopefully you've done your work in molding that piece of clay, as Mr. Carrion said in his article, and shaping that dog into, you know, a good individual or representative of the breed. And then you don't have to worry about these issues, but they're always a possibility, so you need to really keep an eye on them. Things like this, I personally don't think it comes from any one particular line or strain of dogs. I think it has kind of more to do with how tightly bred a dog may or may not be that kind of gives it that outcome, that explosion of power, excitement, that it may do that, you know. It's one of those things in the dogs we can talk about here, you know, that's kind of, I don't know what you'd want to call it, but a lot of people don't really talk about it much. What is that, Ellie? That's that same dead possum. What is it? Watch, girl. Thing ain't moving, is it, girl? Come on. But it's one of the things the dogs kind of have hanging around them, you know, based on the media amplifying that. You know, dog bites because it wants to, as a friend and mentor on the internet of mine said, and he who bites the hardest bites last. Makes pretty good sense if you think about it. But yeah, dog bites because he wants to, not because of what he's bred from, for, what have you. These dogs, you know, being bred for combat for, well, let's say at least 100 of them, last couple hundred of years of history in our country. You know, why would you want to have a dog that's going to bite you when you're trying to, you know, take it off another dog in a match, or, you know, off of an animal that's gotten after you're out hunting, off of a target that you've got for it to hit in a tree hanging. You know, see these things? You got to find, there's only so many things a dog can do. It's got feet, a mouth, ears, a nose. You know what I mean? There's only so many possibilities. But you start thinking about these things and how they all coexist. Pretty interesting. People and society and how they view things, how they can actually shape people's minds into believing certain things. You know, you got your ASPCAs and your PETA folks that basically go and raid people's dogs, kennels, and basically, depending on by what they find, they can classify you however they want to. And, you know, part of my reasoning for making some of these YouTube videos is to combat that. Just because somebody has, you know, one of those harding sticks that I just showed you, or a treadmill, or a flirt pole, or a spring pole, some of these things, you know, are activities for a dog to do. You know, they enjoy it. You know, I'm sure you can see in some of the videos how high prey driven these dogs are, and giving them something like that, a purpose, is actually the best thing for them. Keeps them mentally stable. And a lot of the cases where you've got these dogs that, you know, are biting people and killing them, things like this, 9 times out of 10 it's because the dogs weren't properly stimulated, or whatever, got off the chain. It wasn't really a actual pit bull. Who knows? Well, that's why it's kind of important to know the background on your dogs and what they come from, what kind of health defects they may or may not have, so that you know what to try to get away from in the future, or breed away from, correct. You don't want the same problems to keep coming around. You gotta fix them. But at the same time, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Yeah, we're back in the neighborhood now. But anyhow, just trying to get some conversations going. Hopefully some of these other dog folks will, find us and watch our videos and talk to us, reach out to us, whatever. That's the whole point, really, is to talk dogs, not what type of food I ate at the last one I went to, or things like this. Oh, it was so great, I got such great hospitality. Oh, we'd rather hear about the dogs. Try to find out why some of these people are so messed up. Their ideals and how they justify them. Things like this. Alright, here we are, back to the river. Still no eagles. No shortage of garbage everywhere though, again. Just like to point that out. And no shortage of dog shit, that's from me most likely. But yeah, I'm trying to keep a lot of these videos G-rated also. I want my kids to be able to watch them, they may chuckle a little bit if I drop an F-bomb here or a shit there, but I'm gonna try to not get into my feelings too badly and start ranting on here like I have on Facebook. Sometimes people like to read it, sometimes they don't, It is what it is. But I just know one thing, I will give you my honest opinion and not hold back anything or sugarcoat it in any way. That seems to be the most effective means of communication, whether it be in the dog world or what have you. It works. And if you're in the results business like me and much more rest of the world, that's what you're after. Looks like about a 25-minute video there so far. And we're just now getting to the what I call the triangle lot back here, where the kids play baseball and where they built their little tree house there with my damn boards. Yep. I'll go ahead and shut this off and conserve a little bit of power here for the next dog, which is going to be Hope. And think after that we'll get Rocky. Then we'll get Patches and Brutus. Good thing about a small yard, mine is an example. Whenever I say I'm going to work my dogs, well, the difference between a third of my yard and half of my yard is only one dog. So consider that the time that I spend with them when I can, and I'd say we're doing pretty good. We'll check in with Hope here in a bit.